60 times we have sat down and shared in each other's company. I can't believe it, if I'm being honest. It all seems a little bit wild to me. Let's get into it. Take 60. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. Welcome to anyone who is new, and maybe this is your first time checking out the channel. If you enjoy what you see, feel free to do all that fun YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. If you are returning, what's up? If you would like to find me on any other social media, you can do so by following me over on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft or on Instagram as Piece4PeaceCrafting. I also have a playlist that's linked to the channel, which is Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist over on Spotify. Feel free, follow me in all those places. Good times are happening everywhere. So, how has everyone's 2 weeks been? I hope as well as they can. I hope you've gotten a lot of crafting done. For me, the past 2 weeks have been a little rough, to say the least. It's been a lot of appointments and going and sitting in waiting rooms and doing things, but everything's all good, on the mend, on the up and up. So I haven't done too much, but I've done enough within that time period that I have something to show for you all today. Let's start with one other fun little admin-y thing. So today is Sunday, the 12th maybe? Yeah, the 12th. I think the Oscars are tonight. That's fun. Excuse me. But for those of you who may remember, back in the fall, myself and a few other male YouTuber folks, that's what we're calling ourselves, podcasters, got together and we did a live event on a Sunday called Tude Dupes Live. Now this consisted of Cabin Boy Knits, the guys over at Fiber Hustle, Needles at the Ready, and the Wool Patch. And we all had a little segment and talked about things that made us feel excited about, was it fall? The holidays. It was a holiday edition. Whoopsies. So we're all coming together again to do one to kick off spring, which is happening next week. So next Sunday, March 19th, you can tune in live here on YouTube. I'll post something about it in the description below, but it starts at 12 Eastern Standard Time and it goes for 5 slots. And all of us will be going live talking about things that get us excited for spring. So if you want, set a reminder. I will be going live next week at 2, I think, Central Time, so 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hi, Kendrick. Yeah, and it should be a really cool event. We had so much fun last time, and we decided that we should do it again. There'll be some fun prizes, and definitely some fun makes and what gets us excited about the season changing here in the Northern Hemisphere. Other than that, I think that's it. We should get into some makes. Now's not the time to play, friend. I'm so sorry. All right, let's get into some makes. So I have one finished object, and I have 1, 2, 3, 3 whips, 4 really, but one I'm not going to show because I didn't really get to touch them much, which are my socks that I showed you all last time. They're sort of in a timeout that they didn't ask for. But I have been working on a couple other things that I'm excited to show you. Oh, I've sort of been wearing this a lot lately. This is my moving forward wrap. This is a pattern by Denise Byron. It's just a big scarf wrap that's in the shape of an arrow. Really beautiful. I think this is Leading Men Fiber Arts. Yeah, it's just nice. Throw something on light while I'm around the house. Or I've been wearing it out actually too, even though it's still cold here in Chicago. All right, so kind of a great segue. My first FO is on my little mannequin head here. Oh, I can hold it like this. This is the Beret of Light, and this is a pattern also by Denise Byron. And she just released this pattern and did a little make-along for it. It was a week long, and I moderated the Zoom meetups for it. And it was just a week to make this fun little beret. So the yarn I used, I don't really know the name of the farm that it was from, but it was a worsted weight. I did know that. And really sheepy. My roommates a few years ago bought it for me while they were traveling. So it's from somewhere here in the States. And I thought, oh my gosh, I want to make this pattern. What could I use? And this proved to be the perfect option for it. So I made this one for my roommate. She looks so cute in it. The yarn is dyed in sort of a tonal pink, and then the underside, I ran out of this. I thought it was enough, the yardage, but it wasn't. Is I added a little peach color, so there's a slight difference in color if I go like this. But when it's on, you can't tell. So it's a worsted weight pattern. It comes in 2 sizes. I did the medium. I think it's just a medium and a large. And the cool thing about this is it's a top-down hat construction. So you start here with a little I-cord, I think it's safe to say without giving too much away. And then you start building out. And as you're building out, you're creating these little points of light. Well, are reflective of light. So it's like a little sun ray going outward. And then you decrease down to do the brim of the hat. If I'm being honest, I did this in like 2 evenings. It's super fast. The beginning part of it is very memorizable, easy to memorize. And so I didn't have to look at the pattern for a while until I knew I got to a certain point, and then started the next portion of the hat, so the front part of it. The cool thing I think about it is it can be worn in a lot of different ways. So you can do your typical, I guess, how you think of folks wearing a beret, a little cocked to the side. Some of the folks that were in the group were wearing it a little more back on, oh my gosh, style it, friend. A little more back on the head, so it's giving you sort of this look, hair down, curly, we're living. I don't necessarily think I guess you could wear it just sitting on the top of your head. Obviously, if someone had hair, it would fluff out just a little bit more. But I think it's really cute, very versatile. All the colors that I saw that people were making during the make-along, and just like as I've been seeing it on Instagram, are really great. It looks great on everyone, the way that everyone's been styling it. Super cute. And a few people made raspberry colored ones, which made my heart happy because I love prints, and I was like, oh, everyone's making raspberry berets. That's so fun. Yeah, so this is the Beret of Light pattern by Denise Byron. Thank you so much. You can leave now. And they're gone. So that's the only thing I've finished this week. Let's get into what I've been working on. Sorry. Just like, let's get into what? Let's get into what I've been working on. So, first thing, where am I starting? Let's start with this sweater since it's right here. Is my Lento. So if you remember, for those of you that have been here, I made one for my roommate and then I started one for myself. And so this is a pattern by Jonah Haitali, I'm gonna say. And this is the Lento pattern. It was featured in Lina. And so, wait, let me pull this out. This is on, yeah, US 10, so 6mm, and US 6 and 4mm needles. The pattern is written for a fingering and a mohair together. I'm using a DK and a mohair together. I think that this Rowan felted tweed, which is this green, my DK, is a little bit lighter than what I want. And I'm just using some KnitPicks Aloft in the color Labyrinth. This green didn't have a color. It's green. And it's got tweed in it, so it's got a little flex in there. I am making, I think, the 5th size. You all, I'm so sorry. I'm so disorganized today. The 5th size, I believe. It's a size bigger than what I wanted to. Or smaller than I wanted to. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter because it has to fit. Anyway, here it is. Here's what I have so far. So last time you all saw it, I didn't put a marker in. I was just about to split for sleeves. And so I've split for sleeves, and I was gonna pick up and start the sleeves right away. But I'll show you in a second. I didn't want 2 projects with 4 balls of yarn coming off of them or like working from them at the same time. It was just like, it was too much. So I just kept going on the body. And so I've been working on just getting some of the body done. I think that you can see some of the flecks of tweed in it. The mohair definitely tones that down some. But I do love the fabric that it's making. I think it's gonna be really light and really fun. I'm obsessed with the color. The 2 yarns held together are something I think pretty special. I have another sweater that's very similar in color. But I think that's all good. The shape's different. Yeah, the shape's different, so that is fun. Yeah, there's not much to say. I'm just like going around and around and around and around, working on the body until it gets to a certain length. And then I'll go back and pick up for the sleeves and get those done. I think in the, excuse me, in the pattern it's written as sort of a bracelet length. I'm gonna do full sleeves. I have enough yarn for it. And I think that will match more my vibe. The last sweater I made, that Light Festival, I made the sleeves a little bit longer, and I think I might do that with this too. I was really feeling how just like, instead of stopping it here, just coming a little bit onto the hand was that vibe was giving me. So I think I might do that with this too, just to switch it up a little bit. So this is my Lento. I've been enjoying it. It's been my like comfort knitting because it's just stocking it right now. So it's just like round and around and around. When I don't really want to think too much, especially because the past 2 weeks have been a little bit not the best. It's been nice to have a project that I can just like sort of zone out and just watch a little bit of TV, knit around and around and around. All right, that's thing 1. Thing 2 is, I'm gonna save this one for, oh no, for last. So I have I don't have it in here with me. I have like a Friend Supply Co. bag, and that is my like sock bag, I guess. Just like it so happens. Like I always have a pair of socks in there. And once I get to the end of my socks, because I don't use all of the yarn most of the time, I just like would like make little balls of them, and just like I keep them in the bag. And so I was like working on the socks that I have going on now, and I was a little bit over it, and then I was over having all the stuff in this. But anyway, I wanted to clean it out and just like get a fresh start in that bag, because it was a little chaotic. So I decided to cast on the Safe Space. I'll pop in a picture because I think there's a small animal that may have ripped up the pattern one day when I was out of the house for too long. We don't need to talk about that. So I need to reprint it, but I can pop in a picture here. And this is a pattern by, I believe on Ravelry, it's Scanigans. Everything will be linked below, so don't worry about it. And so it's like some of those other blankets that I've scrappy. I mean, it doesn't have to be scrappy. Blankets that I've seen where I think it's called Cozy Memories, where you just do like the little squares and you connect them all together, except these ones are hexagons. So I thought that was pretty dope and wanted to try it out. I bought the pattern when it was originally released. Yeah, so I've had it for a while, but just like never started on it. So right now, just what I have is living, not you moving the camera, silly, is living in this Scrappy Angel, little box tray. And let's talk about this for a minute before I get into the project that's in it. So this angel, who is the maker behind Scrappy Angel, when we were in Rhinebeck, or when I was at Rhinebeck with friends, she gave us these prototypes for these new bags that she was going to start making, or trays that she was going to start making, and she just wanted us to prototype them, see how they worked out. I love this thing. I immediately put a pair of socks in it while I was there, and was like, had the yarn coming from both ends, working on them. And since then, I've been using it more as like just a tray while I'm knitting. So this thing now, excuse me, has a name. It is going to be the Michael box tray. We love. And they're available now in her shop. So I will have it linked down below. And I think it'd be really cool. I'm going to show you something else about it. If we just, like, if you like it as I'm showing it, go to her shop and let's sell her out of them. I love this thing. I think you all will too. So it folds up into a little box, and there's a zipper on the top. I've definitely shown this before. And then it opens up into a little tray. What? So I've been having this just sit on our coffee table. And if I need to move it for any reason, I can always just fold it back up, zip it, and store it someplace else. This one was a prototype, so I'm not sure if this color is available. And I believe that she's added pockets to the inside of them now, so that's pretty dope too. Yeah, it holds a lot. I have like a little bit of a project, some scissors, yarn, a little notions pouch, all sorts of stuff up in here, and I love this thing. So, that being said, let's get into what I have of this little blanket. So I had them on a cord that doesn't have needles on it anymore, but I think I'm gonna switch to using DPNs maybe. We'll see. So this is what I have so far. What? I just decided I was gonna do something scrappy. I have all these like leftovers from making socks, and honestly, I watch Lisa of 72 Stitches, or she's 72 Stitches on Instagram, Knit All the Yarn podcast. I'll link that podcast below as well. She's always doing a scrappy project, and she has a scrappy blanket, and I was looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I just don't know what to do. Like, should I start this? And then I thought, what would Lisa do? She would start a new blanket. So that's what I decided to do as well. I'm loving it. So fun. I did these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just in like in the afternoon and evening, like taking some breaks. I've already woven in the ends too, just like as I'm going. So I love that. So what ended up happening was as I was grabbing, it just ended up being like striped, variegated, striped, variegated, striped. And I think I'm gonna try as much as I can to continue that throughout the whole thing. So I did some measuring and my hexagons come out to be about 4.5, 5 inches. And so I figured, how many did I settle on? If I do like 15 across, maybe? Is that right? 15 or 16, 15 across, I think. For like 15 by 15, it'll give me like a 6 foot by 6 foot blanket. Somebody out there is yelling at the screen because you can do math faster than I can. And so I think I'm going to do that. I have a little, so this little cubicle situation has little bins in the bottom 2 shelves. And one of them is just full of like DK and like sock weights, fingering weight yarns. And so this pattern you can do as a DK weight or you can do it as a fingering. And so I'm choosing to hold the fingering together to get a DK weight. That way I could use up more of the yarn, the fingering weight yarn that I have, and some of the DK stuff that I have too. I can throw it in here and the gauge won't switch. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, I thought this was fun. It's really silly. It's just gonna be a hodgepodge of all sorts of things, and I think that a scrappy little blanket is something I need in my life. And it's fun to just be like, oh yeah, these were those. And obviously because I'd recently worked with all these, I knew exactly what they were, but going through that bin, I'm sure there's gonna be some stuff that like, what was this? Or it'll bring back some fun memories. Like, oh yeah, this is from that shawl that you made and you love. So that's my safe space blanket. That's where it is now. I probably won't show that one too much, just like the other blanket I have, because it's like, I'm going to work on it when I work on it. It won't be something that's in, no, I can't. That's like in the rotation all the time, but it'll definitely be rotating some of the time. All right, so that's that. Last up I have, I'm going to take a little sip first. Last up I have my spiced cardigan. So this is the spiced cardigan by Andrea Mowry. And I think it's a companion cardigan to the Spark cardigan. So this is like the more broader fitting version of that. The pattern is different as well. There's like a detail on the bottom. Anyway, I'm doing the second size, so the size 42, and I'm doing this for my roommate because one got the Lento and the other one, he wanted a cardigan. And so I'm using for this, some of you may remember, I made the swatch with a bunch of different colors as my main color. Wait, have I not shown this? No, I did. So I did the swatch. We picked a main color. I've started. So I'm using Yarn Hero in Straw Hat. So the base of it is yellow, but it's what is that called? So like there's one strand, if I look at this, it's a worsted weight. One strand is just like a main color of yellow, and the second strand that was plied together with it, color changes. So it gets a really cool effect throughout. I'm doing So that's one color. The second color is, this is almost gone, is KnitPicks Wool of the Andes Worsted and Cobblestone Heather. This has been going great. Let me show you something. This dog, he got a hold. So I had both of the Yarn Heroes in these little yarn cake holders. This one's from Slip Stitch Studios. It's got little wildlife on it. Anyway, he got a hold of one of them and it was a big jumbled mess. And I didn't want to cut it to untangle it. So I spent like 2 hours just like slowly unwinding and unraveling the mess. So one of them is in a ball, which honestly has been a little bit fun too, to just watch it like slowly unwind off instead of seeing it come from the center. Anyway, that's silly. Here's where I am with those. So just want to make sure. I am loving this. It's like all I want to work on kind of in the evenings. So this is 1x1 color work, which I was a little worried about, but after some success with a few other color work projects, why can't I speak right now? I was like, okay, I think I can tackle this and it'll be great. Did the swatch, got gauge, everything's working out. The sleeves are knit on a US 8, just to help obtain the gauge. Since we're going in a smaller circumference, I decided that I was gonna do the sleeves 2 at a time so that I didn't have to think about, are they gonna be the same length? Like, did I do enough repeats? And yeah, so there's 4, 2 colors for one, 2 colors for the other, working at the same time. If I pulled it up closer, you can see like the little variation. One of them, this one, has like some pinks that it's getting into and a little bit of a dark, like purplish color. I don't know. I think the coloring is really cool. It's very subtle, but I think it's gonna be so dope once it's done. Like, I'm really excited about this. Yeah, so did the cuffs. I think I showed this already. Started, have been going. I am 11 increases in. I have a few more to go, and then I can just like continue knitting the sleeve until it's the right length before I move on to the next step. Now, Cindy, hi Cindy, on Instagram asked me if I could talk a little bit about doing the sleeves 2 at a time, because she'd never like thought to do that. And so here, I'm gonna put these down because I don't want to accidentally drop something. So for me, normally I'm doing like a top down or the couple bottom up sweaters I've done. I've always done the sleeves from the shoulder going out, like to the wrist. So even on a bottom up sweater, I've been knitting, the body, separating, doing the front and whatever shaping it needs, doing the back and whatever shaping it needs, connecting them, picking up the armholes and then going down. This is my first time doing the sleeves bottom up as well. So this has been interesting. Like, I got a sweatshirt from my roommate that he really likes wearing. So I'm gonna, use that as my base for like how long they need to be. But whenever I do sleeves starting top down, I will lay the garment out and pick up one side like it says to do in the pattern, and then immediately I'll take like the cord and I'll go in and I'll pick up the other stitches right away. So now it's like folded in half like a taco, I guess. Okay. And then I'll just do the pattern whatever it says, like, adding your stitches, going around, and then I drop one yarn, go into the other one, keep them going down. The beginning it is a little fiddly because you have the body of the sweater, but once you get a couple inches in, you can just like flip it back and forth instead of moving the whole garment around. With these though, I cast on the bottom of this onto, I think, this set of needles, and then on a separate set I cast on the other, and then just transferred those stitches over to this so that it was working in magic loop. Does that make sense? So like cast one on, or cast them both on separately and then add one to the other. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but in my head, it was good for me to see how all the stitches lined up, so I knew I was starting in the same place on each cast on, if that makes sense. And then from there, I just treated them, you know, as if magic loops, so going around, dropping one, picking up the other. And then once I got to the color work, it just is a matter of using both colors at the same time for each, and making sure that, like, you know, color dominance and all that jazz is in the right spot. But it's pretty easy to figure out, I think, once you get going. If you've ever done socks 2 at a time, very, very, very similar. I say try it, do it, especially if you're doing top down. It makes it way easier for my life. And I think it would be easier for your life as well. All right, so that's where I am on my Spice cardigan. I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks, I can get the sleeves done on it. I am really enjoying working on it, so like I do try to make a little progress on it every time I sit down for a little bit to work on it. Yeah, and then I can get the body cast on. I'm super excited to try, or to start the body, because there's a couple techniques in there that I've never done. So like adding in for pockets and things, and yeah, it's been a really good learning experience for me, which I feel like as people who like to make things, we want to feel, you know, inspired by what we're making, but also we're continuing to learn stuff and challenging ourselves, hopefully. Yeah, and I just feel like I'm learning a lot, which is, for me, super creative. It makes me want to just like keep doing more stuff, because I'm like, oh, okay, now that I understand this, like, let me go and try and do that. So I do feel like this pattern is like already, I'm like, okay, this is dope. I feel like I'm learning some stuff. Definitely learning about doing color work, how I want to hold it. I hold them both in my left hand now. Oh, yeah, in my left hand, because I'm continental. And that's something that just over the course of the last couple color work things I've done has like naturally happened. I tried doing 1-in-1 and it wasn't for me. I tried dropping and picking up, and that made me feel sad because I couldn't go as fast as I wanted. So now that I have a way of holding it and I can do them both in the same hand at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fire. Like, I'm loving this. Anywho, so those are my makes. Do I have anything else? I feel like this is sort of short. I did not do a lot in the past 2 weeks, but did something. Oh, here's something fun. One evening, I was leaving work and I was feeling a type of way, and I was like, oh, I'm going to run over to this yarn shop that I never really get over to, because it's not out of the way, but it's out of the way for me, like where my home is. But since I was at work, it was easier for me to get to. Anyway, I left work and I went to, it's Nina, Chicago, for anyone that lives in the city. And I've seen a few people working from this book, and I was just like, I need something to make me feel happy today. I'm going to go and buy this book and hopefully knit something out of it soon. So this is the Moon, oh, the lights are going to blow it out. The Moon and Turtle book. And they're sisters. They're twins. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names because I don't want to butcher them, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen them. It's through Pom Pom magazine, or quarterly, their publishing company. Anyway, there's some really beautiful patterns in here that I think have a lot of versatility, and yeah, are super wearable. Just flipping through it, it gives you a lot of options for all of them as well. Not just sizes, but just like fit and style. And I'm like, I need a lot of these things. One of the things I want is this. What's the name of it? It's called Kinson sweater. And it's a sport weight, but it comes with information if you want long sleeve, if you want short sleeve, I think there's some neckline things too that might be. Did I just make that up? I could very well have made that up. No, they all look the same. Just like ways to stripe things, ways to, yeah, do different types of sleeves and things like that. I think that's really cool. Another little sweater that I love is this one. This is and I think that's really cool as well. Check it out. Moon and Turtle. Love, love, love. All right, the last thing I have for you all is a music rec for this week or for this episode. I live in a big city, fortunate enough to have a lot of theater come through here, and there's a new to me, I think it's new, musical about Tina Turner that's going to be coming here. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to go and see this immediately. It's not here yet, but it's coming. So that inspired me to go back and listen to some of her stuff, which has been really great. So my music rec for this week is an Ike and Tina Turner album called Nutbush City Limits. First of all, it's the dress. It's the trying to get on the pickup truck. It's too much for my life. Really fun. Love a little rock album. She's just screaming. I live. So my recs on this album would be the title track, Nutbush City Limits, River Deep Mountain High, and Get It Out of Your Mind. So Nutbush City Limits, River Deep Mountain High, and Get It Out of Your Mind. Those are my recs from this Ike and Tina Turner album for this episode. All right, y'all. That's it for me. You're going to see a lot of me coming up soon. There's this episode. There's the live that's next week with all the other dude tubers or tube duders. Whatever. All of us going live. That information will be below. So that's the weekend after. Then I'll have another podcast episode. And then I guess for those of you who have made it this far, there is a yarn festival, if we're calling it, festival that's happening here called YarnCon, and that's at the beginning of April. I know some of you may have come from the Rhinebeck video that I did back in the fall, and others of you who have subscribed and been watching, you've watched that video too, and there seemed to be a lot of positive feedback to that. So I'm asking you all, posing the question to you, if you would like me to do something similar for this event as well. Now, it's over the course of 4 days. I think the first 2 are classes, and I won't be going to any of those. But Saturday and Sunday, there is a marketplace, and I'm probably going to go both days. That I could definitely take you all around in. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing a little bit of that festival. And then I'll put out like I don't want to say bonus, but that seems so silly. But I'll put out like a bonus episode if people are into that in between podcast episodes. Yeah, and then it will be in April. I can't believe it. I feel like the year is just like zooming by. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Cool. Get ready for an overflood of me in your feeds. Again, if you are new and you enjoyed the content here, or if you've just been watching and haven't done so yet, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps grow our little peacemaker community that we have here. I guess that's it for me. Hope everyone is excited for the season to change wherever you are. And enjoy feeling creative for the next 2 weeks. And I'll see you guys soon. Until I see you then, make a piece, spread some peace.